Good evening, everyone. We open the agenda for the San Benito Consolidated Independent School District Board of Trustees. Today's regular board meeting of Tuesday, November the 11th, 2014, 7 p.m. at the San Benito High School gym. Second item on the agenda is roll call. Please state aye when called. Hector Leal.
Aye.
Oscar Medrano.
Aye.
Angel Mendez. Aye. Ana Cruz.
Aye.
Fatima Huerta.
Aye.
Ileana Gonzalez.
Aye.
Antonio Limon.
Aye.
And our attorney, Tony Torres. We have everyone present. Now, can I have everyone please rise? Of course, today is Veterans Day, and on behalf of the veterans, the true heroes in our lives, I'd ask everyone to please, let's have a moment of silence on behalf of the veterans. Thank you very much. Go ahead, have a seat, please.
The pledge?
Yes, we are, but he's going to read out the individuals. Next two items are the pledge and the invocation, but before we rise for the pledge and invocation, we do have two students we want to recognize.
Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance from La Paloma Elementary is Armando Sosa. Armando Sosa is a fourth grade student at La Paloma Elementary, is the son of Ana Benavides and Frank Rodriguez. His favorite subject is math and enjoys counting marbles. He also loves playing marbles with his cousins. Armando's favorite sport is soccer, and Mexico is his favorite team. He also enjoys basketball and baseball as well. Armando's dream is to one day become a school teacher. Let's give it up. Leading us in our invocation from La Paloma Elementary is Elias Castillo. Elias Castillo Elias Castillo is a fifth grade student at La Paloma Elementary. He is the son of Gracie and Telesforo Castillo. His favorite subject is social studies and would like to attend Texas A&M University to study paleontology. He takes pride at being an honor roll student and a top AR reader. He enjoys working on his homework, football, and sleeping. Elias belongs to the K Kids Club and the TCA Warriors of Christ. Let's give him a round of applause. Please rise for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas pledge. Under Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please stand for a moment of meditation. I'm under Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you.
Thank you, God, for everything. Bless the people in the crowd. Take care of every veteran and soldier that are on and off duty. Let this be a wonderful Veterans Day. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good job.
Will the parents please stand up and be recognized at this time?
So you can call their names so they
Oh.
can.
Elias Castillo and Armando Sosa.
As we continue with the observance of Veterans Day, we have a special performance by the is it Dr. Cash Elementary.
Everybody please. Everyone please stand. We'll start with the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Good evening. First two songs are honor choir and the dance team's choreography, and then collaboration of the honor choir performance. The first song is called "This Is America." Please enjoy.
This is America, America. This is America.
The second song is called Hero. This was originally sung by Mariah Carey. Was a very popular song back in, I think, early 90s. I think I was still in middle school, I think. This song is about true heroism that lies within yourself. So please enjoy.
Let's thank Dr. Cash for providing the special entertainment as we honor and remember our servicemen and women. Thank you, Ms. House and choir students. Dr. Cash Elementary parents, please rise, and we recognize you at this time and thank you for bringing your child to this evening's. Oh, there's one more song?
Is it okay to perform two more songs? I am so sorry.
I'm way ahead of myself. I apologize.
We are not going to disappoint you.
Okay.
Two more songs. our last song is called You Are Our Hero. Solo is Grace Ramirez in 5th grade.
Can you say to a hero, to someone who gives so much? What can you say to a hero, to someone who seeks life to touch? We can say thank you. Oh, we can say thank you, thank you. We know God blesses you for all you did and do. We've seen your light shine, and we are all blessed too. You are our hero. What can you say to a hero, to someone who's always there? What can you say to a hero, to someone who lives life to care? We can say thank you. Oh, we can say thank you, thank you. We know God blesses you for all you did and do. We've seen your light shine, and we are all blessed too. You are our
Thank you. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much for having us.
Can we have all veterans or any veterans in the building please rise and be recognized? Again, we want to thank Miss Maki House and the choir students. Dr. Cash Elementary parents, please rise and stand and be recognized at this time, and thank you for bringing your child to this evening's event. And we extend our gratitude and special thanks to Dr. Cash Elementary Principal Lupita Monsivais for graciously agreeing to do this. Thank you very much. Next, we move to special recognitions. Ms. Celia Longoria, Director of Communication, please.
This evening, we are very honored to have some very talented musicians in the house. You heard earlier from the students from our elementary campus, Dr. C.M. Cash Elementary. Well, tonight, we have a special presentation for you this evening, and we would like to honor members of the San Benito Veterans Memorial Academy and San Benito High School Mighty Greyhound Band. They're in the audience, and they're seated right there. They've been working very hard all summer long. Actually, their journey started. They really never got any time off. Them along with their directors and their parents and the band boosters. We appreciate everything that they've done, and we appreciate that they put San Benito on the map. I'm going to tell you a little bit. Thank you. The director of band is Mr. Mark A. Perea. And I'm going to mention his assistant directors, Robert Diaz, David Jimenez, George Mujica, Iram Reyes, Art Rivas, Dulce Rodriguez, John Simon, Manny Treviño, and I'd also like to recognize Secretary Sandra Rodriguez, and this year's drum majors are Armando Aguirre, Nadia Hernandez, and Thalia De Leon. Approximately 300 students from both campuses make up the Mighty Greyhound Band. And as you know, the band has experienced a stellar year. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their accomplishments, and we are very proud of them. Their show this year was called Oh, What a Tangled Web We Weave. And for the 2014-2015 marching season, these are some of their accolades. At the Vista Ridge Marching Festival in Leander, Texas, they earned a second place award in 6A division and a third place overall award at the preliminaries contest. At the Tournament of Champions contest in San Benito, they earned a sweepstakes rating. At the 72nd Annual Pigskin Jubilee Contest held here in San Benito at Bobby Marlow Stadium, they earned a sweepstakes rating as well. At the Area G Preliminary Contest in San Antonio, area finalists, and they were awarded a second place. And at the Area G Finals Contest in San Antonio, they earned a state advancement, a second place award. At the University Interscholastic League State Marching Band Championships at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas, November the 3rd and the 4th, they earned a 33rd place finish at state. Congratulations to all the directors, assistant band directors, band students, Band Booster Club members and parent volunteers on their hard work and dedication this marching season. And at this time, I'd like to recognize all the parents and band boosters that are in the audience and any parent volunteers as well. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Perea, who has a few words this evening. And congratulations once again, band. We're very proud of you.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank a couple of people. Of course, the Board of Trustees and Mr. Limon. We greatly appreciate all the support that you've given us. Ms. McCall, helping us get on the road. Ms. Sanchez, for really all the outstanding support that you've done. Parents, it's been a very heartfelt season for me, especially because this is my first year as a head director. And so learning, just as young as our group is, it's a very young group. I'm young too in my head directorship, and every day that we spend with your students, we grow. I'd like the staff to stand up really quickly. I've been lucky to be educating for the past decade, and as an assistant, I know the very long hours and the personal sacrifice that a lot of parents and colleagues in the high school level and middle school and administration don't really know. These individuals spend often late nights working with individual kids, their weekends. They take their work home. They attend convention on their free time, and a lot of their time is spent making themselves a better teacher to make your students a better band member. And I really wanted to say that we really appreciated you and your hard work. It's been tremendous, and I thank you deeply, and I think the city of San Benito thanks you, staff, for your hard work. Thank you very much. For all the members that are in the band, every single person, to our prop helpers, our prop crew, to our drum majors, and every individual flag spinner and trumpet blower and drum banger, everyone has been important, and this is a season that we've really learned about what commitment is and what it is to be selfless and dedicated to one another. I'm very excited to say that this is our second year in school history. It took us 104 years to make the state marching contest, and it'll be 104 years before we're out of the state marching contest again. So. For those of you parents that have put up with the long hours, I can only thank you so much and say that what your child is doing is much better than the average kid every day. These students started in the end of July, basically meeting 8 to 10-hour days, spending their summer time with their directors, putting individual practice on their own and with the group. Some had overcome personal issues and family issues, and I have so many students that have hardship at home, but come every day and you would not know that there was anything going on. And I thank those students, and I thank the community for supporting us so much, and we're going to be doing our best to continue the growth and the perfection of the San Benito High School Band. Thank you very much.
We do have a short video presentation, so if you turn your attention onto the screen, you'll be able to see this video. Hope you enjoy it. KSBG TV 17.
Band members, I want to reach out to you and tell you from the bottom of our hearts, you make us extremely proud of our community, and our community is extremely proud of you. You know, looking at the video, seeing the dedicated hours, I saw that some of you are practicing in the sun, carrying a water jug. It's hard work. It truly is. And it takes a dedication to achieve the greatness that you have. So we thank you. Parents, boosters, we really appreciate your devotion to bringing your child out to practice. And it's great to see that what efforts you put forth, they've demonstrated to you that they're dedicated to what they do. Mr. Pereira, you've set a high standard for yourself, a very high standard, but we appreciate it. To your team, we thank you. Again, you make us very proud to be of San Benito. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the Board of Band Alumni, I want to congratulate the band on their tremendous success. You made history. You made history. And I also want to thank the parents, band boosters, all volunteers that volunteered. We know the long, hard hours you put into it. But now here comes the next step. What are we going to do in 2 years? Or what are we going to do next year? That's the question. So don't worry, I'll worry about over here. I know. But we need to emphasize freshmen and sophomores, you're going to be leaders, okay, coming up. So don't forget, you're going to be leaders and you will be held responsible. But today we're going to celebrate tonight, and let's give them a round of applause. You don't want to sing? Oh, thank you.
I also would like to congratulate the band, but I think that everyone needs to know that a few years ago, when the band teachers came to this board and told this board, if you want us to be successful, if you want us to be able to compete, give us what we need. And this board, without hesitation, put over $500,000 on the table for this band, and we're very proud of what this board has done, and very, very proud of what the band has done. Go Hounds!
We'll take a short break for reception. Cake. We're back in session. It's 8 p.m. Next item on the agenda is Superintendent's Report.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I would like to inform the board of the overnight trips that have been scheduled. San Benito High School, Veterans Memorial Academy, the migrant students will travel to Austin to meet with the College Assistant Migrant Program, or CAMP, at St. Edward's University and tour the state capitol on November the 14th through the 16th. San Benito High School STEMS program will travel to San Antonio, Gardner State Park for the Central Texas Experience on November the 20th to the 23rd. The San Benito High School decathlon team will travel to San Antonio for the regional decathlon competition on January the 30th and February the 1st of 2015. San Benito High School VMA National Junior ROTC will travel to Tomball, Texas for the Military Skills Meet on February the 13th and 14th of 2015. San Benito High School cheerleaders will travel to Orlando, Florida for the year-end reward trip on May 21st through the 25th, 2015. And the San Benito High School Bells drill team will also travel to Orlando, Florida for the year-end reward trip on the same dates, May 21st to 25th, 2015. Next item on the superintendent's report is the insurance update report. And with this, I'll turn it over to the gentleman from ABA that will make the update report presentation.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for inviting me on such an auspicious occasion. It's quite exciting. I wanted to speak a little bit about the plan. We're 2 months into the plan year, September and October, and obviously you've probably heard from Emma that the claims have been running fairly high the first 2 months of the year, and there's been a couple of reasons for that. First of all, there's been 5 claimants that have a total paid claims of over $622,000, which is, for a 2-month period, is quite a bit of dollars expended. Now, the good news is there's stop-loss coverage, so there's coverage for all the claims that are over $125,000 of paid, and so far, in these first 2 months, there's $144,235 that'll be coming back to the district fund. So that'll be somewhat of an offset to those first 2 months' claims. There's another type of stop-loss insurance that the district has called aggregate insurance, which covers for the period of the 3-month run out and the 12 months of paid claims. You've got $1 million of coverage there if the total paid claims go over the aggregate amount, which is roughly $7 million this year. So we're anticipating that the claims are going to settle down going forward, but we did have a couple of rough months in September and October. And what I'd like to do, I suggested to Emma, I would like to come back maybe in December where we've had a full quarter in the new plan year and make a better presentation of the Finance Committee in a little more detail and depth, but we need to run some more reports to find out exactly what's kind of behind the increase. We do know that the managed care plan is the largest single driver of the cost because so many people signed up for it, and the clinic. The on-site clinic plays a critical role in the administration of that plan. We have to interact with them daily in terms of the primary care is almost all directed into the clinic itself, which is a direct cost to the district and not reflected in the health plan cost. At least that's how it was set up. We know that after the transition to the new administrator, there was a period of time where there may not have been enough doctor coverage booked in or allotted, and so there were some spillage over that people that should have been treated in the clinic actually ended up having to go into the community to get treatment, which was unexpected. And obviously, when they go into the medical community, the physicians file claims and the plan pays them. So I can't stand here tonight and tell you what the impact of that is. It's going to take quite a bit of research to do that, and that's why one of the reasons why I'd like to come back in December with another month's worth of claims and see kind of where we stand and try to give you a little bit better feel for how that transition drove the cost. Another impact is that in years past, the clinic was directly paying some of its own expenses. For instance, LabCorp. Lab claims are a large part of primary care. When you go to the doctor, obviously they draw blood almost every time. And so the clinic was paying those LabCorp claims in the past, and they weren't hitting the health plan. So that during the transition, the LabCorp claims suddenly became a health plan expense. So now we're seeing that where we hadn't seen that in the past. We're also seeing the same thing with when the clinic orders things from the local pharmacy. In the past, that was a direct expense of the clinic. Now it's been redirected to the health plan. So again, you're seeing a little bit of an increase because of that. But again, I can't quantify that until I really kind of compare last year with this year and see what the impact is. That's really all I can report now. Again, the good news is there's insurance coverage in place, and we were able to place really aggressive stop-loss coverage for this plan year. So there's $1 million of coverage on the aggregate. Hopefully we won't get there. It's only 2 months into the year, so we have 10 more months. We hope to see things start to calm down. The board approved plan changes in the managed care plan that took effect October 1st. There's now a $50 specialist copay. There's a copay to go to the hospital that wasn't there in the past. And so we'll expect to see that have some impact going forward as we start to see those claims come in post October 1st. And as there's more cost sharing, that has a tendency, obviously the cost sharing reduces the planning expense directly, but there tends to also be maybe people don't go to the doctor quite as often if they know they have to come out of pocket $50 every time they go. So we should start to see an impact on that. But again, we won't really start to see it until probably the end of this month, going into next month, as far as the plan changes go. But that's pretty much what I have for tonight. And obviously, if y'all have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Let me start off. Thank you for making a presentation. I do have a couple of, not necessarily questions, maybe comments and concerns.
Yes.
What rationale or what reasons are there for us still receiving lag billing from 12 months ago? I mean, lag billing at this point, if we continue to see the lag as far as how far it's reaching, we truly will not know the consequences of this past year's expenses till mid-year of next year. And that's not a good position for the district to not really truly understand or be able to grasp what the financial outlay is of its medical plan if the lag is running 12 months behind. And I know it's a minimal amount.
It's a small amount.
But
yeah.
the idea that it's even there, to me, is worrisome.
Right.
One would think that a procedure or a medical doctor's visit in October of 13 would not be showing up in October of 14. That just, there's no rationale for it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look at that more specifically again, because I mean, when you look at the big picture, you should see the majority of the claims paid within 30 to 60 days from the date of service, the incurred date. Now, there's a lag in there because, particularly in hospital claims, and when you have large hospital claims like we've had this last couple of months, hospitals tend to take 30 days to actually produce a bill, and sometimes longer on larger bills because they have to go through an audit internally to make sure all the charges that they add to the bill are accurate.
And I'm going to say it's kind of odd because I know when I go to the doctor or I go to the hospital, I guarantee you by the next month I'm getting my bill.
It's about 30 days. Yeah, it's about 30 days.
So the idea that we can try to excuse a bill from October 13 and being paid in October is just irrational to me. And
it shouldn't. You're right. I mean, you're right. You're correct. It should not be happening.
Yeah.
You're going to see an occasional. You're not going to have 100% of the bills paid in a certain time frame, but you should see. And I've looked at the claims that have been paid to date, month to date in November, which only have been 10 or 11 days, and so far I spot checked 281 bills, and 263 of them were paid in less than 75 days from the date of service. So you're looking at whatever that number is, it's close to 90% are actually from the date of service to the date processed less than 75 days. So that's 30 days to bill and then another 45 days to process and pay, which is about where you want to be. The other thing you got to remember, you don't want to pay your bills too fast because you have a very large claims account, and as you pay that, the faster you pay that money out, the less float you receive from the bank. So.
Well, true, but the idea that we're seeing billing still being paid a year later is a concern because we're looking at, right. And just looking at your graph and looking at your lag, I mean, the bulk of your billing, we probably won't see for the year 13, in probably February or March of next year, when we're really truly going to get an idea of what the expenses were for this past year. Again, at least looking at.
I'll have to disagree with that.
Well, okay.
I think you're overstating the claims that are a year old. I really do. I mean, I think there might be a small percentage there.
Well, I
But
mean, I'm not understating what I see.
the bulk of the claims are paid within 60 to 75 days.
It's okay if it's the bulk, but the issue is that you still have a lag of 25, based on what your numbers are now, a lag of 25 to 30%. 25 to 30% of a lag on a $10 million cost is $3 million. So you're talking about a lag.
Are you talking about the incurred but not reported claims? That's
precisely.
22%? Yeah.
Right.
That's a standard industry number. That has nothing to do with
Well-
the actual payment of the claims. That's an estimate. That's an estimate based on the time it takes for claims to be, after they're incurred, to be billed, processed, and funded and paid. And it's 22%. You could ask any insurance company, and they'll tell you it's 22%.
22% over what period of time?
Over a year.
Over a year?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be over the course of a plan year. At the end of that year, you're going to have a number that's going to be what they call incurred and unreported, meaning that we don't know what it is. So it's an estimate. And the estimate is always 22%. So
Okay.
I mean, that's all I can tell you.
What I'm going to suggest is in your presentation, you say you want to come back to the Finance Committee. I think we're going to need to have a
Yes.
special meeting where we can actually take time, at least a few hours, to really analyze where we are as far as the billing and some of the reasons as to why we're running the lag so late. And I'll give you another concern, and this one really maybe not relative to you as far as the billing, but one of the concerns that comes up when we see bills that are 8, 9, 10 months is how can we assure ourselves that the bill and the billing is a legitimate cost? Because if it's 7, 8 months down the road, the patient that went to the doctor may not even know what's being billed to the district. And if it happened 7 or 8 months ago, it'd be very difficult for us to assure ourselves that the bill that came in is appropriate for that doctor visit. And when you have bills running 8, 9, 10 months old, you're going to run into those dilemmas. And we may be, and concern would be, is we may be paying bills to whether it be a doctor or hospital or whatever practitioner out there that may not be true to the doctor visit. So these are the dilemmas that start arising when we're looking at receiving bills and paying the bills a year later. If you go back to the patient, we may not even be able to assure ourselves that the patient can even remember what they went to the doctor for. So these are the types of concerns I have, and yes, these are things that we're really going to have to address, and we're really going to have to take a good look at, because otherwise, again, right now we've got an outstanding estimate of $2 to $3 million that we may still be incurring over the next 3 to 4 months for last year's expenses, based on the numbers that you have here, at least on the presentation that was brought to us.
Again, that's an estimate, yeah. That's an estimate of incurred but unreported claims. It may be higher and it may be lower.
Well,
There's no way to tell.
Yeah.
In other words, if it's unreported, you don't know.
Well, true. Okay.
Okay, so it's just an estimate, again.
Any
And it
additional
really
questions?
won't come into play until the end of the plan year. But we will, I mean, I think I appreciate the fact that you're going to allow me to have a longer period of time in front of the Finance Committee, because I agree that,
Well, I
that
think
there needs to be a much more in-depth and detailed, not just reporting, but kind of understanding back and forth about what's involved in the entire process of medical claims from the data service. Also, the interaction of the clinic, which has in this particular case, because of the managed care plan, has a large impact on the cost as well, and also on some of the timing of the claims. I don't know if it was discussed in the Finance Committee, but there were also a number of referrals that somehow from June that weren't communicated to the health plan during that transition. It's been corrected now, but it led to a delay in payment of quite a few claims, specialist claims that had been referred out by the primary care clinic into the medical community. We couldn't pay those until we had a referral, and we had to get a release from administration in order to actually process those, because they somehow fell through the cracks during the transition. And that stuff happens, obviously. So we feel like that's now passed, and that the relationship and the working day-to-day working relationship with the current clinic management has improved quite a bit, and we should also start to see the lag in the claims improve quite a bit as well. And so we need to demonstrate that. I understand that fully.
Any additional questions? No. Okay, well, I guess we'll set a special meeting. You let us know how much time you need. I would say mid-December is be the latest. We need
Mid-December,
something.
yeah, mid-December would be good, because then we'll have a full quarter's worth of claims. We'll have seen hopefully some of the impacts of the plan changes that were effective October 1st. And I'll get with Emma, and we'll set the time, or whenever I'll be available for it. So I think
You
it's
got to
very
understand, our
important.
concern is the issue is that, again, this is a $10 million program that we're running, and we really need to grasp where are we and how much is it truly costing us.
Totally agree with you 100%. It's a big budget item, obviously, and it needs to be understood fully. And there's been, like I said, there's been some changes, some transitions, and there's also been some large claims this year that we haven't had in years past. And so a lot of that impacts. I do want you to I want to leave, though, and let you understand that there is stop-loss insurance coverage in place that's going to help mitigate some of that cost at the end of the day. So the budgeted amount that you have will still be within reason. So.
Okay, December the 2nd is the Finance Committee. December the 9th is a regular board meeting. So unless the board wants to meet on the 16th, which is the following week, just to discuss insurance, that's something that can be considered.
Yeah. It'll have to be a special meeting just for this. So we have time to really analyze where we're at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think.
We'll be leaving to go to Austin for the training for the elections, so I may not be here.
It'll have to be the following week.
Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at either the week of the
9th is
the 8th, yeah,
or the 6th.
yeah.
Unless we
It'll be
know.
the second or third week. We'll get back with you.
Second week of December? is that
Second
what
or
you're saying?
third week of December.
Second or third, okay,
But
that's fine.
again, I want a full report. I want to be able to get an idea of just exactly
Yes, sir.
where are we and why are we here. And again, I need to understand the rationale as to why we're receiving bills a year later, because that just to me is just unbelievable.
Well, I mean, I'll go back. We'll go back and I'll pull the bills that are a year old, and we'll actually take it through and find out what happened, because I mean, there's any number of reasons. It could be from late filing. It could be from a bill getting lost. I mean, things happen. And so if we're talking about if we're talking about a large, significant percentage of bills being a year old, I don't think we'd be here, because the providers would be, having a revolution to get paid. They'd be bringing guns to the meeting looking for their money. And we're not seeing that type of complaint occurring. But I agree, there are some that have been paid. There's been some lag issues. Emma's been on top of them. And so we'll continue. We think that we're working through most of them right now and getting it caught up. So there's always going to be some exceptions to the rule, but it should not be a significant amount. I totally agree with you on that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item under the superintendent's report is a presentation by Redfish Recycling Initiative and consideration to pilot at a campus. Will the representative of Redfish Recycling please come forward?
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me to come to your board meeting and make my presentation. Sergio, could you back up just one or two slides? I think we're on, yes, okay, we can start right here. Or the next one, if you'll go forward, just one more slide. Thank you. Just to start with, I want to give you all a little bit of background on who our company is. We are the seventh active location for a company called Mark Industries that's based out of the Midwest. Our founder is, his name is Kent Longley, and he got his start working with Walmarts in the Midwest area, specifically Arkansas, Bentonville. The location that we've opened in Brownsville is the seventh active location, and what we are is what's called a MRF, So it's a materials recovery facility where we actually do sorting and separating of materials, which I'll get into in a moment. The main point about who is Redfish is we have over 20 years of experience in recycling, and we're founded by a local partner, Dean Putnett, who is 5th generation living in the Valley and in Brownsville. So we just want the people that we do business with to know that we're local, we are supportive of local jobs, we're gonna keep the money here and support the community. We're not here to move on to other places and take money with us. Sergio, could you move to the next slide? Thank you. So why we recycle with Redfish? We did some surveys and we found out that in Brownsville, approximately 98% of the people there would like to recycle. The issue is that it's not readily available. What complicates it is you have to take it to a recycle center. Sometimes it's closed. So you have to separate your recyclable material, being plastics from aluminum, from newspaper and paper, and so on and so forth. Lids have to be removed. Protecting the future and taking part in green options. This is another reason why we feel like the schools are a good option to recycle. We do a quarterly ad in the newspaper, recognizing all businesses and schools that recycle with us in the Valley. Right now, we're working with almost all of the private schools in Brownsville. The Idea Academy in San Benito contacted us recently to come and do a waste audit here. We're working with 3 of the Los Fresnos schools in that school district. So I think we're really increasing some visibility within the schools, especially with the elementary kids. They seem to really enjoy the participation. We really want to increase awareness and visibility about recycling. We want to help increase that awareness, especially with the youth. We realize that we're growing by leaps and bounds in the Valley, and we really need to start conserving our natural resources and starting to do our part to make our landfills last longer and just do our part in general to make our environment a better place to live in. We also have a Rudy the Redfish recycling can and a mascot that we're currently working on. So Sergio, if you could help me with the next slide, thank you. We've done some research, and this is specific to our Brownsville landfill. We share it with Port Isabel and Laguna Vista, South Padre Island. We send 900 tons of trash to that landfill each day. So that's 1.8 million pounds of trash going to that one landfill each day. So whatever we can cut out of that poundage or that tonnage, we're recycling, and it costs a lot less to recycle than it does to throw away into the landfill. So with that, we can help save the environment, cut down on the landfill usage, and protect the whole valley for future generations. There was some research done on the landfill, Brownsville's landfill, and the number we've gotten is gauged in between anywhere from 25 to 30 years, but we're still unsure about that at the rate that we're growing, if that's really going to be the case. Sergio, could you move to the next slide? Thank you. So this slide here demonstrates what it is that we actually do. So we're a single stream sorting facility, and so what that means for you as a school, as a school district, that means it's going to be the ease of implementation. So what really can happen here is all recyclable material can go into one container. So for us, what's recyclable is any type of paper or cardboard, newspaper, magazines, boxes, mail, books, cartons. Plastics 1 and 2s, those are going to be your water bottles, Gatorade bottles, your cleaning solutions like Windex, Clorox, things like that, and any type of metal or aluminum cans. The majority of what we work with, what we found with the other schools, is their kitchens. There's a lot of this type of material that comes into the kitchen. The students have been really good about participating in their classrooms, but that's very minimal compared to what's really coming in on the rest of the schools, especially on the side of the kitchen, that area of receiving a lot of boxes, a lot of packaging. So at the moment, what we can do is help save most businesses and school districts money because we're slightly less expensive than the city trash services. So that's where some savings would be involved, and not only that, helping the environment and reporting as well. Sergio, could we move to the next slide? So for Idea Academy, for example, we want to help you all visualize the impact. So we want to do this by reporting the tons of material. We weigh each container at each facility, business, and we do reporting so that people can see exactly how much they've recycled in pounds and in tons. This can also help the students take pride in their efforts. A lot of businesses that we work with encourage people from home to bring recyclable material so that they can see their reporting go up in numbers. Idea Academy did this on their webpage and started a pilot program, but now they've implemented the 2 ideas in Brownsville, and they're hoping for the idea here in San Benito, and so are we. So, and this also has fueled some competition. I know that when we visited Ileana's school, I think I went back and did career day at Linda's school, which is the Olmito school, and they're very competitive, and I think so is your school. So they were very excited to see that there's going to be 2 of the same schools participating, and we would be able to give weights and tell you which school was able to do more recycling. Sergio, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So this is a copy of what the service that we do at Olmito School is an 8-yard container serviced 3 times a week. So over the course of a year, excluding the summer months, they would have potentially recycled 43,200 pounds of recyclable material, deterred that amount from the landfill. So we've broken that down into the amount of trees saved, gallons of water, kilowatts of energy, and cubic yards of landfill space. And we get these numbers from an actual EPA reporting that we generate. This is based on some studies that we've done. It's an average of about 50 pounds per yard, and so that's how we multiply it and get these numbers. But this natural resource report we give out on a quarterly basis to all of the businesses that we work with, and for some businesses, we work with the federal courthouse. They require it on a monthly basis, and they also require Excel reporting in a spreadsheet, more specific, like on a weekly basis. So we can help you. I know that numbers are very important to you, so we can help you if you all want more specific reporting. The only thing we can't do is tell you, since we collect a mixed material, is the exact amount of poundage of a particular commodity, cardboard, for instance. It's all mixed. We can tell you what the container was mixed. Sergio, could you move to the next slide, please? Meat compliance, we also found some information on TASA and TASB and about how if there is a possibility to do recycling for a school, a public school, that it would be recommended. Obviously, it would have to be economical, efficient, beneficial, I'm sure, for both parties. We want to help you meet compliance, provide a clean and safe environment with the quarterly reporting. You can keep track, and then you can adhere to these TASB and TASA mandates. And Sergio, I think I have one more slide, please. So in a nutshell, what we want to help do to all schools and all businesses is help reduce the pollution, contamination, the reliance on the landfill. We want to help you all with your costs. I know that you all are a pretty big school district. What we've done for other schools is, or school districts, is done pilot programs, and if you would allow us another opportunity to revisit, we could bring you a proposal and discuss what it could mean for you all potentially with a pilot and what the numbers would be further on down the line in regards to savings. And ultimately, it's the protection of the environment, protecting our natural resources, and just doing what's best for our community and future generations. So I didn't mean to talk as much as I did. I'm a little bit nervous, so I appreciate your time. Can I answer any questions?
I have a question. What is the cost?
So we have a cost analysis. We really prefer to, we don't have fluctuating pricing. We have a base price for our containers, but what we prefer to do is do a waste audit first. And in a waste audit, that means we will come into a location. sort of assess where the trash is coming from, where it's going, who's collecting it, and things like that, and fit a proposal and make you a tailor-made program. I think right now for the Olmito schools, they're being charged about $300 a month for the containers that they have, and I think that we've been able to save them several $1,000s on their monthly, no, I'm sorry, over the course of the year, not on a monthly basis, but they were paying quite a bit more. So they still have their trash cans, but they've just reduced the amount of trash and implemented the recycle.
How much does the audit cost?
There's no charge for the audit. And we have a flat fee. The quarterly reporting that you saw, the natural resource reporting, the newspaper ad, all of that is all inclusive, where there's no hidden fees. We don't charge for anything except for an extra pull, which would mean if you all had an event and you needed us to come service the container twice in, one day to the next or something like that, there would be a $35 service fee for that.
And do you all provide the containers as well?
We provide the containers, which are 4 yards, 6 yard, and 8 yards. And then depending on the business, what we've done did we bring you all containers? We brought you containers.
Classroom and one outside and classroom containers.
We have office containers. I think they're 28 quart.
They're little
So
ones.
we brought those, and they have the redfish emblem, and then we put a sticker on there that shows what is and isn't recyclable. And so we can certainly can do that for you. Then we also have some larger ones that are not on casters that we supply for the kitchens. But as we grow, we're constantly working with new businesses telling us that they need this type of trash can for this area. So that's certainly something we could look at being more specific to this school and what your needs would be here.
You mentioned, is there any other service providers doing the same work as yourself? Because I know BFI does not do any type of recycling.
There are a couple of recyclers in Brownsville, and I know that there is like the City of Harlingen Recycle Center, but there is no other provider that will collect a commingle product from your business. You either have to drop it off separated, or if they pick it up from you, it has to be baled or compacted. At this point in Brownsville, that's the case, and at this point, I know that's the case in Harlingen. We haven't really started working in San Benito, so I'm not sure about your recycle centers.
Now, the only concern I'd have is I know that Harlingen manages its own waste disposal, and I think Brownsville manages its own waste, or do they have BFI?
They use GMS, which I think was BFI at one point.
Yeah, and the reason I ask is because I know that the cities negotiate their contractual agreements with whoever is the service provider for the city, which includes who the district then has to use. Have you run into any difficulties as far as being able to service a community that has where the city has a contractual agreement?
So in Brownsville, GMS does have Brownsville's a franchise city, so they can only commercial business can only work with GMS. However, we do not collect trash. So we don't use the landfill, and we're constantly being asked, the city of Harlingen is always asking us to give them reporting on our contamination ratio. Because yes, you do make a valid point. We're a private entity, so we're not necessarily a competitor because we're not collecting trash, we're not using the landfill. The instances that we do use the landfill are minimal, and we pay just like everybody else does. But yes, that is definitely been a concern, but we have overcome those objections. Legal department has gotten involved in it, but we are doing everything properly, legally, and according with city ordinances.
And the only reason I'm concerned about it would be is any legal liabilities the district puts itself in contracting with you if the city has an obligation that we use their service provider.
Well, I completely understand, and before we would even probably ask to bring you a proposal or do even a waste audit, that would definitely be something that we should do our homework on so that we don't tie up your time and ask you for a commitment that you can't make.
Right. Exactly. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergio.
Next item on the superintendent's report are disbursements and disbursement for organization. That concludes the superintendent's report.
Any questions? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, public comment. We have no one registered for public comments. Nope. Okay, we'll move on to item number 9. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of a consent agenda. Consent items placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items are items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Prior to the time which approval consent item is had, at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. Under Business and Finance, 1411A1, request for the approval of appropriate funds within each department for the purchase of the following. A truck for maintenance department, approximately $8,000. B, a mini excavator for maintenance department, approximately $14,000. C, a truck for AC Energy Department, approximately $13,000. And D, a van for the AC Energy Department at approximately $14,000. Item 1411A2, request for approval of 2014-2015 budget transfers. 1411A3, request for approval of 2014-2015 budget amendments. Under Curriculum and Instruction, 1411A4, request for the approval of the Texas Accountability Intervention System plan for Frank Roberts Elementary.
Question.
1411A5, request for approval of the PDAS teacher appraisers.
We need to add a name to that, so it needs to be questioned.
Okay, there is question on it. May I have a motion to approve all those not in question?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor, state by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Go back to 1411A4, request for approval of the Texas Accountability Intervention System plan for Frank Roberts Elementary.
I had a question on this item. First of all, I want to go ahead and thank the committee for taking into consideration the concerns that were expressed during that meeting. There was a question regarding the excellence percentage by our students, and that was adjusted to reflect the expectations that we're going to have for the students from what it used to be to something more appropriate. But I had a question on the needs assessment summary and improvement plan for the science specifically. It doesn't have a page number, but I guess it's the second to the last page, or the third to the last page. Down at the bottom where it says interventions by quarter, at the bottom right-hand corner where it says interventions, it says number 2, the RTI rosters with personalized interventions will be developed for all 3rd and 4th grade students not meeting the phase in 1 level 2 state standard. And I know that the focus for science specifically has been 5th grade, but understandably so, we go ahead and prepare our 3rd and 4th grade students as well. Now on that statement, I noticed that it left out 5th grade. Is there a reason why we're not going to develop RTI plans for the 5th grade students that might be at risk?
For the 3rd, we have the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th grade should be included there because we will get when they take the assessment, we will get the results, and we do plan to provide a plan of action for those students as well.
For RTI? Okay, because it's not inclusive of 5th grade.
Okay.
And the reason I question it is because since this plan is targeted towards the 5th grade,
yes,
but with a focus on 3rd and 4th, I noticed that 5th grade was excluded.
And if I may please add in, thank you, I would like to address the board as we work towards our 5th grade students, we are targeting specifically from pre-K kinder, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th throughout every day. We have included 45 minutes of daily instruction. We are very fortunate to have a science lab teacher in addition, that she also is working with our kinder through 5th grade students to ensure that they're ready to be able to perform at their best when they get to 5th grade.
Right. I also noticed that, and I'm glad you brought that up, that you're including kinder through 5th.
Yes.
For the 45 minutes.
We strongly believe that we cannot wait till 5th grade.
Right.
And so we are taking measures to include kinder all the way through 5th grade. We started this last year, and we have continued to do that. And we're going to see a big improvement in our performance. Absolutely.
Okay. So with regards to that question I asked, is there any way that could be addressed?
Yes.
Just so that it's inclusive of everyone
Yes.
that's going to be targeted.
Yes, this has, we have the opportunity to submit an amendment and make sure that we have that correction as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? With that, well, then I'll ask for a motion to approve as recommended for amendment.
So move.
There's a
Thank you.
motion and a second. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item was
Thank you, Mr. Manis.
in question 1411A5, request for approval of PTAS teacher appraisers.
Yes, Mr. President, this was approved earlier by the board, but there was a name left off the list. We'd like to add that name to the list, the name being Mr. Alfonso Resendez, BMA, Assistant Principal, being added to the PTAS teacher appraisal. Would ask for board approval of that.
Any questions? If not, so ask for a motion. Is there a second? All those in favor state by saying aye. Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is closed meetings. Discussion under the authority of Texas 551071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney on any subject or matters authorized by law. 551074 for the purpose of the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. A, report on personnel, and B, employment, resignation, and retirements. We go into closed session at 8:45. We're back in session. It is 9:42. Go to item A, any action on items discussed in closed session. May I have a motion to approve item as recommended by the superintendent?
So moved.
So move. There's a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor state by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
There is one abstain. All right. Next adjournment. Next item is adjournment. We are adjourned.